Welcome everyone to the Mastermind Book Club. Tonight we have the second part review of, what book is it? Anyone? Anyone know the name of this book? The Magic. Go ahead.
Thinking Big.
That's right. That's right. And none other by David J. Schwartz, PhD. So this book has been compared to Carnegie Hill's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. It has some similarities.
Napoleon Hill.
Dale Carnegie.
Dale Carnegie.
Dale Carnegie. Yes, Dale Carnegie. That was good. That was good. Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People, which we did last year, that book. And I wanted to see what one thing have you picked up from this book? What powerful information have you picked up from this book? Does anyone want to comment on their perspective? What one piece of information has immensely assisted them with improving their lives? Anyone?
I say goals.
Martha, yes. Goals. Okay. And how are goals? How have goals changed?
In your mind, you have to put into your mind what you want to do for 10 years, 5 years into now. And you have to put it into your mind, put it on a piece of paper, taking action to dreams come true. If you have to make the goals, write the goals in a piece of paper, in a book, or in a notebook, what do you want to do? And start working, taking action for now to you get it.
Got it.
So be active and powerful and perseverance.
Correct. Thank you, Martha. Anyone else have a thought or something they learned from this book that they want to comment on? Anyone else? Anyone? All right. Well,
Hi.
Ty, yes, Ty. Hi, Ty.
Hi, everyone. How you doing, David? I'm
Wonderful.
glad you're well. I see you working out. That's a good thing. I did 100 sit-ups today. I was supposed to do 100 more.
You're doing fantastic.
But I'm on it.
You cheated, but it's okay.
But it's all good. But this group and everything is helping. I'm not going to even lie. So, just to connect with what everybody else was saying, as far as if like through this pandemic, oh my goodness, if it wasn't for you guys and this group and like Chris and the connection, I would be totally pulling my hair out probably right now.
Wow.
So I'm appreciative and grateful is what I'm saying. Okay.
Well, thank you, Ty.
But okay, what I learned.
Thank you.
You're welcome, David. I'm learning. I'm listening. I'm listening to the stock tips too. Reggie, good. I heard y'all. I'm learning. Okay, but what I learned is it is about how we think. It's about I guess with me, I'm learning from everything, and I don't try to act like I know everything, because it's like everything is like a classroom. You can learn from little children. So it's like me personally, like the magic of thinking big is like seeing a bigger picture than what I'm used to from where I came from. People that I've knew and from where I came from, they didn't think like about like yachts and mansions and, land and property. Nobody thought like that from where I came from. So now as I meet like, people and like family members that have that, now it's like, I feel like it's okay for me to, to want those things or think that I have those things, or, know that I'm, my aspirations are to have those things, because I came from a place where it was like, people like me is not supposed to have things like that. So, from that, I'm just learning. And thank you.
Thank you, Ty. Really appreciate what you just said, both of you. And I'm going to summarize what both of you ladies have said. Once I hear from everyone else, I don't know if anyone else wants to collaborate on one of the things they learned from this second part of this book.
I'll speak on some stuff.
Reggie, yes. Go ahead, Reg.
Well, I mean, touching on slightly what Ty said in regards to people being your teachers, everyone could be your teachers, is the whole idea of the environment that you're in. And the environment teaches you, whether sort of directly, indirectly, whatever, but you become a product of your environment. So it's in essence like it's kind of like teaching, kind of like taking in and absorbing what's around you. You know, it's kind of like this whole concept we talk about, my friends and I, every week, not every week, but often, you know, sort of becoming what you're around, in the sense of epigenetics, where you become, and, you know, you're sort of shaped by that which is around you, you know, so you can be a certain way. And the epigenetics factor will basically make it such that if you are around a certain environment, certain people doing certain things all the time, you start to mirror and become that which is around you. And so where you can, you know, propel yourself and move yourself in a certain way and get to a certain place where you can start to achieve different things that you might want to achieve, is to put yourself in certain environments, right? Because the environment is going to have a profound effect on you. So once you start to understand that, you start to put yourself in those environments around certain people. And then on top of that is just sort of, once you getting that, between getting that and also how you kind of behave, how you think, how you act, you know, realizing that you have a multiplicative effect on yourself just by basically you doing things a certain way. You act in a certain way, you sort of live in your life a certain way, speak in a certain sort of way. And so what that begins to do is just sort of creates, you know, a sort of compound effect on you, so that you start to become that which you are behaving like, and that what you're doing, and that's how you, in that in which way, in which the way in which you're speaking. And you can also have that effect on others, which is then going to compound upon compound, because not only are you becoming a certain sort of way, the environment is helping to become a certain sort of way, but you're also, by you becoming a certain sort of way and putting that out, there's a reciprocal effect or a compound effect, because you're creating something for someone else. So it's like a reciprocity thing, whereby when you produce and act and do things a certain sort of way, it only brings back to you more of that thing. You know, so that's a very important thing to understand. So you start to become greater than you. You know, and then in all of that, you can give yourself, as the book talked about, like pep talks and things like that, so that, like, even just you doing those things and behaving a way and talking a certain sort of way and doing things a certain sort of way, and the environment teaching you certain things, and you producing that and making other people behave and act a certain sort of way, then as you doing all of this stuff, ultimately, and also giving yourself pep talks to stay in that mode, to stay in that mind frame, to stay in that way, it starts to continue to make you a certain sort of way, and it continues to build that habit, continues to build that what you're trying to put out and project, and ultimately you just are all of that. You're embodying that in every aspect of yourself. So if you understand that, this is how you can become, you know, whatever it is that you want to become. And on the flip side of that is some people not knowing that, it also has the counter effect of, the other effect of, you become a lesser version of something. So you have to be careful with that. But the idea where we are is just knowing this whole book that we're focusing on, the magic of thinking big, is to use all that information and use all of these tools so that you can become a greater self, so that you become more to, you know, emit more, so that you are able to be effective in a greater way, and that you're able to, you know, affect more people. Because ultimately, I think the biggest success is not just in what you do and what you get out of it, is what you ultimately put out, so that other people are benefiting from it. So you always got to be thinking more than just you. Magic of thinking big is not just about you. It's about how much effect can you have on the people around you, such that you move them in a way that they could be moved, not even knowing that they're being moved in that way. And then they come out on the other side a bigger, better person.
Got it. Wow. Powerful, Reggie. That's a
Thank
lot.
you. Well said.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
I just throw a couple notes aside, and I just wanted to reflect on them.
No, that's very good and very concise, and you were very brief. Really appreciate that, Reggie. Everyone, yes. Does anyone else want to comment, add, or at least one thing they learned from this second part of this book, or the book in general?
Okay. Hi,
Gina,
David. Hi,
yes.
everyone.
Hey, Gina.
Hey. So I was thinking, Reggie, something that you mentioned, sounds like you're saying, you know, what Neville Goddard and some of the new thought leaders say, that imagination creates reality.
That's
So,
my boy, Neville Goddard.
Yeah. Yeah, he's one of my favorites too. So anyhow, one of the things that stuck up to me, well, lots of things I guess stuck up to me, but I'll just mention a couple. And you know, how action cures fear. When we're fearful, the best thing we can do is just step out and do that thing that we fear doing, and we become more confident in that. Don't put off for tomorrow what you can do today. And there was, I think, something else that I wrote down here. Okay, says, okay, use action to do what you fear and getting confidence. And fear disappears after action is taken. So, yeah, that was one of my takeaway. You know, I know, David, you mentioned take one thing from it. Yeah, if only one thing, you know, but just use it. So I want to like, that's the one that I'm working on right now, in trying to get rid of some of the fear that I have been, you know, in the back of my mind that says, oh, if you do this, then this is going to happen, and so forth and so on. So anyway, I just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Gina. That's part of actually the thoughts that I have. So I appreciate that, Gina. Anyone else want to say anything else? Otherwise, I'll go into mine. Anyone else? Once, twice. All right.
This is Charles.
Charles, there we go. Charles. Hey, Charles.
Hey, how you feeling today, everybody?
Wonderful.
Good, good,
Right.
good. Yeah.
Well, just a couple quick things, just piggybacking off of what everybody else said. Pretty much, you don't want to sell yourself short. When you're thinking big, you want to also think about the vocabulary that the book was talking about to match your vision, and to then stretch that vision to a greater point. You know, like sometimes we think we're thinking big, but we're really not. You have to like go beyond your imagination. I know one time I was having a conversation with Reggie, saying I wanted to be a millionaire. He said, "Million, that's too small. You can actually be a billionaire." So we have these interesting conversations. And also that comes into view with thinking above being average and just applying actions to your thoughts. Everything we say is awesome, and seeing the vision, and you know, but you have to apply that vision. You have to push into it, you know. And even in my favorite book, it says we press towards the mark of a higher calling. And our vision and our mindset, we have to press into that greater thought. That's what I got out of the book.
That's right. That's right. Vision and our mindset. Thank you, Charles. That's very powerful. And most people will not realize what each and every one of you just said, and the few words that Charles just said. They're very powerful. I want to reiterate the things that you all said very quickly. I'd say it'll take me about 3 minutes or maybe less. Number one is being human. You know, enjoy life, work hard, enjoy the family, work hard, enjoy friends. Meaning you do not have to necessarily work 100, 200, or 200 hours a week to make it, you know, success. So one of the issues that most of us are bound to have experience with is excuse-itis. All right, we always have an excuse. Oh, that's too hard. Oh, that's too many hours. Oh, I can't do that. Well, how about just doing the action? One of you just said it. Doing the action, number one. Number two, having patience. Not giving up because you didn't get it done the first day. All right, it might take a year. It might take 3 years or 10 years. Listen. We all want to communicate, but we don't give each other a chance to listen. This was in part one, but I really feel that we just need to hear it again and again and again. All right. Number two, thinking that it's possible. Of course it's possible. Maybe we don't see it, but we should be able to imagine it and create it and stick with it. All right. Because we're ready to jump the boat. A lot of us. Oh, we didn't make it. Let's move on to the next thing. Right? I know that because I'm one of those persons. I used to be one of those persons. Ignore the haters. How do you ignore them? By your attitude. You know, the manager of the hotel who was, you know, yelled at by a customer. And, you know, he kept his cool and maintained, you know, patience. So it happened to me this past weekend. I got yelled at, and I probably said the wrong thing, but I said, hey, you know, we're playing a game. You know, it's 4 of us and 2 against 2. So it's not 1 against 2 or 1 against 3. We've got to work as a team. So sometimes it's best just to listen, to be quiet, and to accept whatever people are saying. And it's easier said than done, but practice makes perfect. Like I knew right away, I should have just stayed quiet and said, yes, you're right. And that's it. It ends a conversation. Always remember that. Don't look to win the argument as much as to give the other person the ownership. Even if you know you're right, just stay quiet and listen. All right? One step at a time is number 4. One step at a time. Whatever it is that you want to do, just get that one step going, whatever it is. And number 5, the last one, is sometimes we want to do too much. We want to do 10, 20 things. Stop it. I was there. You're not going to get a lot done. Focus on the 1 to 3 things, just like I'm attempting to focus. And it's working. It's not easy, but it's working much better for me. And I hope it does for you. And remember that, as the quote that I posted in our group says, attitude plus 1 arm is better than the right attitude plus 2 arms. The wrong attitude plus 2 arms. So remember that your attitude counts. Whatever you're thinking, all right, whatever's in your brain, you've got to combine it with your emotions, all right? Once you combine the love in your heart with whatever it is that you're thinking about, that you want, then you bring it into the world through writings. Write it down, plan. Without a plan, we all perish. And that's the other thing that I want to let you know, is that those of us who do not have a written plan, a visual plan, something that we're implementing on a daily basis, how are we going to succeed? Everyone has plans. All the big companies have plans. So if you're ever found in a situation that you come across an illness, say, this can't be, because, I don't have cancer, because I've got to do this and this and that. So you have these plans, because the plans will always supersede whatever obstacle you are experiencing. So that's it for the review for this week on the magic of thinking big. And I hope you tune in next week as we cover a very powerful book that we're going to post early morning as usual, Wednesdays. That way you can start listening or reading on that book. So to everyone, have a great evening. This is your Mastermind Book Club, and we hope that you're learning at least one important thing on each of these books. Have a great evening.